What does Mance Raider, Winterfell, and the Pink Letter have in common? Let's have a look, shall we? My name is Johnny Wild, and today we'll be investigating what I've come to call the Winter is Coming conspiracy. So, what is the Winter is Coming conspiracy? This conspiracy looks at why Mance was chosen from all the available people, including Jon, to go to Winterfell. Yes, he was there to save Jenny Poole. People believe it was Arya Stark at the command of Melisandre who saved his life. But why him? That's the question. Well, Melisandre would know who he actually is under the glamour of Mance. That's without his cape. All she would need to do is change the enchantment of the glamour to the red silk used to repair the cape, as the persona of Mance started with Rattle Shirt. So all she'd have to do is change the enchantment to change the cape's outward face from Mance to one that he could use as Bale the Bard. Going back to my previous video about who Mance is, we can now determine the why. As I said previously, I believed Mance is Arthur Dayne, and that had helped him to cross the wall and get the black cloak and chainmail he would need for the cover story. So Jorah Mormont, the Lord Commander at the time, was loyal to the Starks, who were the Mormont Liege Lords. So I have no reason to believe he would not have helped Ned with this. And while on the travel to the wall, Ned would have imparted his knowledge of the crypts to Sir Arthur as a backup if he was unable to impart this to the next in line. So, what was imparted, I hear you ask? Well, what lies beyond the rubble of the crypts, and in the lower levels, of course. There is a video, I want to remaster that. You can still watch if you want, and it's part of this playlist, but for information's sake, what's down there is the Night's King and the original Ice. Both went missing during the Age of Heroes. And this links to the need for Stark to be in Winterfell, among some other connected traditions. Why does this matter? Mance did not pick Abel the Bard for shits and giggles. Abel is an anagram of Bale, who was actually Rhaegar in disguise, who hid in the crypts with Lyanna Stark, who he eventually married. So how does this all connect? Mance was sent to enter the crypts. We know he was there during Robert's royal visit and was looking for the crypt. Apparently for the Horn of Winter. But what if he was there to look upon the imprisoned Night King, but couldn't get past the blockage? The blockage left by all Stark lords, there on purpose to act as a deterrent. When Mance realised he couldn't complete this part of his mission, with Theon saving Jenny Poole, and realising he and his spearwise were in trouble, he wrote the Pink Letter addressed to Jon under the triggering insult of bastard, and tried to make it sound like Ramsay, but slipped. And you can check out that video in the playlist if you want more information on that. I was hoping there was enough rage for Jon to gather the wildlings and storm Winterfell. Then together, after revealing its true identity, they could remove the rubble and go deeper to explore the crypts, using the knowledge passed down to him by Ned Stark to ensure the Night's King stayed trapped. Now, if you got this far, thank you. And your mind should be wandering to the Tower of Joy with the names I mentioned. And so for my theory to work, Ned would have to have spared the life of Sir Arthur Dayne, and in return entrusted him with the knowledge of the Lords of Winterfell. And Ned would have done that from the Tower of Joy all the way to the wall. And so when Ned returned Dawn, the ancestral sword of the Danes, he would have also had Wyler under his employ. And from that point on, Sir Arthur would have told her, "You have to now act as Little John's mother," and she would not have refused him. I will make a video on this because 300 miles without a nursemaid is odd, especially around that area. So I'll try and find a Google Map version of Westeros, and I will show you how that route works, because it's very odd. And so by charting a boat from Starfall all the way to the wall would allow Ned and Sir Arthur to get to the wall without being clocked as a dead man, basically. Let's put this into a summary. Mance was chosen to enter Winterfell and access the crypt, as well as to find who he thought was Arya Stark, but he stumbled upon the Northern Conspiracy, Ginny Poole's rescue, the increased threat from Ramsay to him and his spearwives, and knowing he couldn't risk removing the rubble, he hastily wrote the big letter, hoping Jon would fall for it in anger. And with his anger, Jon would have stormed Winterfell, and combined with the Northern Conspiracy, would have retaken Winterfell, allowing the crypts to be excavated, and the truth down there revealed. And that's what links Mance Rayder, the Winterfell crypts, and the pink letter together. Now, if you think I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. If you think I'm right, tell me in the comments. If you think I'm right, also like, subscribe, and comment for more. And if you want to, do a bit of share as well. You can always do. I could do with the help. And with that, thank you for watching. Seriously, you have been amazing for getting this far. Now it's time for me to say sod off and cheerio.